So my Libby holds are out of control. Have you ever had that ping, 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 ping? Your hold is ready. It's happened to me so many times during this week, these last like 7 days, that I have so many holds, so many books that I want to read. So counting them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books on my Libby that need to get read before I go on vacation. Let me show you what those are, and I'll show you other books that I'm actually reading outside of this. First up is Now That I've Found You by Kristina. I am 62% in on this one, thankfully. I am on the fence. This is about a 3-star book for me from where I am at the 62% mark, but we'll get into what it's about and everything later. We have P. Djeli Clark's Rig Shout, and this is for a video that I'm filming on the side of this video. I read 1 chapter of this, and I didn't know that was what this book was going to be about, but I'm invested, and it's a short read. I am invested. Next, we have Maybe for the Summer by Aubree Pynn. It is summertime. It's time to read this book. Aubree Pynn is one of the authors that will be at Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses. I was going to read some books or a book or two of hers for my Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses video, but I think I'm not going to because I have so many books by her and some I haven't read. So we need to get into those before I go back down there acting a fool with my money. Then we have Kennedy Ryan's Can't Get Enough, the last book in the Skyland series. I've read the other 2. They're behind me somewhere on this shelf. And I gave the first one a 4.5, and the second one I gave a 3. And I'm hoping that I enjoyed this one as well. I looked in here and Miss Ma'am is busty. That's what we like to see, a BBW. This one is Tia Williams's new YA romance, and it's called Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. And I love the fact that he has on Crocs, because Crocs are my thing. I am a Croc girl, and I also like his hair. But yes, this one just came off hold for me, and I'm going to read this one. Next up, we have Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. This is the very first book in the Lioness trilogy. I read the prequel book, and it was something else, y'all. If you haven't read that prequel book, Salt in the Wound, if you haven't read it, Sierra Simone is a freaky woman, but Salt Kiss is the first actual book to this story. And from what I'm understand, it is Tristan and Isolde retelling. I don't actually know that story. But I did like the prequel, so I'm hoping to continue to like this series. We have my first ever book by Percival Everett, The Trees. I'm hoping that I like it. I don't know anything about this. I try my best to avoid anyone's thoughts or opinions on books that I do plan on reading or want to read, but this has also become available on my Libby. Next is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have never read a Rebecca Yarros. Now we have Fourth Wing. I don't know if I'm excited or not. I'm just dragons, fantasy, romantasy. I like it. I just hope it is a good read and a good fit for what I like. You know what I mean? Because everyone else seemed to have lost their damn minds when it comes to this book. But all I want to be is entertained. All I want to be is entertained. Finally, we have Stephen King's Never Flinch. Now, I know a lot of people do not like the Holly Gibney stories or her as a character, any books with her in them. I do. I like Holly Gibney. I don't know why, but I do like Holly Gibney, and I got Holly Gibney in the Mr. Mercedes Bill Hodges trilogy, and I loved her. Okay, I loved her in her own book, Holly. I enjoyed Holly. Okay, and this is supposed to be the final book for Holly. I doubt that. But finally, it's this one. This is the last book on my Libby that I need to read to get it off of there. I am also, again, in the background for another video, reading Helen Hart's Unchained Blood Bond Saga 1. This is an omnibus version of this story because there are 3 books in here and I've already read 1. I'm in the middle of the second one. Also, because I'm enjoying this story, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and found out that she stopped writing these books, or the publisher stopped publishing them right when she was about to finish this series. So there's 3 books, I believe it's 3, that never got written. And so it's kind of like bittersweet because I haven't even begun to bite off and chew the contents of these vampire books. Before you know it, I'm already knowing that I'm never going to find out what happens in the end. It's like a TV show that gets canceled right when you are all into it. So it is what it is. I have the second omnibus, but I do not own the third or the fourth. And like I said, I believe it's the fifth and the sixth, or the fifth, or just the sixth that hasn't been printed or written. But I'm going to read as much as I can of this series until I'm like, I don't like it, or I love it, and I start badgering that lady online to finish this series. But yeah, those are the books, hopefully, that we get to in this video before my vacation. I don't want to have to take any of these books with me on vacation, because there is a book that I'm taking with me on vacation, and it is a thicker book that I plan on reading while on vacation. So I want these to be done and off my Libby and off my just reading agenda, period. So let's get into reading. So I have finished the first book for this video, which is Now That I've Found You. And we can mark this off of my Libby. So I don't know if you can see it, but it is there. It's there. And we're going to just return early. There it is, better to see. So we're going to return it. Done. First book finished for this video. But Now That I've Found You is a new adult contemporary. I would say a new adult women's fiction, if I'm being honest. It is not a romance to me, because the romance is in the background of Evie Marie trying to find herself and in the industry, find out who she is as a person. And through, I want to say, a good 80% of this book, I did not like Evie Marie. Now, there is a character in this book that does her dirty, and I didn't like her either. But she stood 10 toes down on her nastiness until the end of the book. And I didn't appreciate that either, because you still did something low down, dirty, and disgusting to Evie Marie. And in Evie Marie's head, she's like, maybe one day I can forgive her. Some people do not need your forgiveness. And I wish people would stop putting that in the book. To move forward, you don't have to forgive shit. You just got to let it go. And when I say let it go, you can think about it. You can, the dwelling on it is what I mean. Dwelling on it to a point where you're stagnant in your life, that's what you have to let go. Because that person obviously is moving on despite what they've done to you. And Evie Marie was no better. And the fact that she wanted to use her grandmother to get her name to be better in Hollywood, since what the other girl did to her kind of like fucked her up. But yeah, so Evie Marie wasn't a likable character in my opinion. And this book had nothing but people close to other people doing shit that they shouldn't have done and being forgiven for it. Like, what are we talking about? I'm gonna give this book 3 stars. It wasn't a bad book. It just didn't hit the spots that I think it was supposed to hit for me. But that's neither here nor there, because we can now move on to another book. Like I said, in the background, I'm reading this. So I am on page 214. I'm still in the second book out of the 3 books that are in this omnibus, and I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, I'm still enjoying it, but this is not on my Libby. I told you this is in the background. This is what I've started to read. I've read 2 chapters, and it is in dual POV, Lucci, and what is the other girl's name? Daisha. And from the little 2 chapters that I've read of this book, Lucci is a rapper who just lost his contract with whoever he signed with, because he's a hothead. He's always getting into fights and causing the label unnecessary attention that they don't want nor need, and they're tired of looking after him. And then you have Daisha, who was backstabbed at her job because I believe it's her assistant, sent an email from her email address about some confidential stuff that was supposed to be in-house of her company. They represent people, like a PR firm or something like that. And it was supposed to be kept under wraps. And her so-called friend and assistant, I believe he's her assistant, whatever, because he has access to her emails, sent an email from her personal email, so she was fired. And her mama, she called her mama afterwards, and her mama said, sometimes, baby girl, it's just time to go home, and I agree. So I've started this one, but that led me to thinking, how about I just dibble and dabble into each one of these books? I'll read a chapter and see which one holds my attention, and then that's the book that I'll choose to read. So let's go down that little rabbit hole now. So I read the prologue of Can't Get Enough, and this one is going to be a hard-hitting story because Hendrix has a mother that is battling Alzheimer's. Hendrix lives in Atlanta, runs her business in Atlanta, and she comes home from overseas having to deal with work, and it's, I believe, Thanksgiving, and her mom is not home when she gets there. The house is in disarray, food is burning on the stove, in the oven. Everything doesn't look like how her mama's house would look on a normal and regular basis. And then she gets a call that a police officer has picked her mama up because mama went to a location in their town where her bakery used to be, but that a strip of mall is no longer occupied by any stores. So Hendrix is coming to the realization that the Alzheimer's is progressing, even though her mom was just diagnosed a year prior. So this is going to be a more hard-hitting story, it seems, because Hendrix has to come to terms that she's losing her mother while also trying to figure out how to care for her mother at this time and care for herself. And her Aunt Geneva is saying, hey, that's my little sister. I will take care of her as much as I can to help you. That was all in the prologue. I enjoyed the prologue of this book. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And let's move on to read some of these other first chapters or prologues of these other books. Okay, so I've read the first chapter of Aubree and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia Williams. And this is going to be very YA coded, and I hope it's cute because our FMC, Aubree, is in the bathroom of a party with a party of teens, of YA age teens, sipping on a vodka. Now, I don't know about any of you, but as a teen, I never drank. So sipping on a vodka is whoa. But she's sipping on a vodka, therapizing a friend of hers who ran into Bash and had a 30-second conversation with him because she left her wallet and couldn't pay for her bacon, egg, and cheese there in Brooklyn. And he paid for her food, and now she's in love. So Aubree is just telling her it's not love or lust, it's adrenaline. You just like the way he looks. That's it. So they're having a good little session while in Audree's head she's just thinking about college and going for the summer to where her dad lives in California, which she calls Dadifornia. Her and her mom are not as close as they used to be. We don't know why as the reader. And that's all that happened in that chapter. It's cute, it's light so far, and I'm gonna give it as an intrigue. I think I'm gonna say a 7 out of 10. Let's start another one. Y'all, I finished another book. I am clearing this Libby. It's only been 2 books. I need to calm down. It's been 3 books in all because I've read my book that I told you I was reading in the background, but I read this. Basically one sitting. Read this. Didn't move. Except for to eat, use the bathroom, watch a little bit of TV, play my game on my iPad. But other than that, I was reading this. This is going to get 5 stars for me. 4.55 stars. It was so good. And the ladies do love Lucci, okay? I am ladies. Lucci and Daisha, they were cute. This book had Aubree Pynn, the woman that she is, the author that she is. If you understand the writers and the authors that you read, you know, you start to see the patterns of how they like to write, and it doesn't get boring or anything like that. But with an Aubree Pynn book, you're going to get a little bit of gang activity. Okay. And that's what we got in here. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But this book, I think the underlying message that I got from this book is that you can be more than what you think you are with the right village around you. And some people do not have that. And some people are jealous of you once your mindset changes. So if your mindset is just, I'm okay with just my bachelor's degree, I'm good with that. And the moment you step out of that comfort of that and say, well, you know what? Now I want a master's, or now I want a PhD, or I want a doctorate. I want to go be a lawyer. I want to go be a judge. People are going to look at you crazy because it's like, why couldn't you be happy there? And when you were at the spot that you were at, I could meet you there. with you going beyond them, they can't meet you there. And everybody is not supposed to go with you on your journey, family included. And I love the way the mental health aspect of this came into play when dealing with Lucci and his PTSD. She ate that. She ate that. I enjoyed this book. I was in it. This was a good one. I recommend this book to anyone who has ever read an Aubree Pynn book before. You would definitely love this one if you've read Aubree Pynn before. I can't really... Oh, okay. If you liked Aisha Bree, Strummed, I believe you would like Maybe for the Summer by Aubree Pynn. That is what I can safely, compare it to. But yeah, so I finished this one. I'm giving it 5 stars. We're going to go to Libby. There it is at the top. Return. I'm returning it. Returned. I'm clearing my Libby. I'm so happy I'm clearing this Libby. Oh my gosh. But y'all, I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I still have 7 books on here. And this is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, you saw me read 2 first chapters or prologues from 2 different books. So you saw me read from Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends and Can't Get Enough. However, I've read the first chapter in P. Djeli Clark's Ring Shout as well. And this I'm reading for a separate video as well. However, it's on my Libby. It's time to clear it. So this will be the next book I take to read. But I didn't read a first chapter from Thought Kiss. But I think after Ring Shout, I think it'll be this one and not the other 2 that I read, because I think this would be a fast read as well. I don't know. The moment I say I want to read something, that's the moment I don't read it. So we've read 3 books for this video. I'm trying to clear the whole entire Libby. That's 7 books for this video. 7 more books for this video. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll try to get in at least 1 to 3 more. Let's see if we could do it. I have decided that Never Flinch by Stephen King is not on my to read right now, so I have returned it to Libby. Like, I have returned it, and it won't be satisfying shot of me saying, hey, we finished this and clicking it, because we didn't. So I just returned it. This is a soft DNF for now because I'm not in the mood to read this. That's the thing about putting things on hold on Libby or on whatever other sites that you use, apps that you use, is that when you put them on hold, you want to read them when you put them on hold. By the time they come off hold, you're probably not there anymore if you're a mood reader like me. So I'm not in the mood for this at the moment. So I will not be continuing with this one. This one I was reading in the background for another video, but it was on my Libby, but I have also returned this one because it doesn't fit the video that I was reading it for. So this one has also been returned. It's a very short read, but I have a thing with body horror, and I didn't know I did until I read Our Wives Under the Sea. I do not like body horror. This has body horror in it, and it made my skin crawl, and not in a good way. Like, oh, like I don't know how y'all do it. Body horror is not my thing. But because this is not vampires, which was for the other video that I was reading this book for, I'm going to put a pause on this. It is good writing. It is an entertaining story. It's just not what I need to be reading at the moment. So I've also returned this. Now an update on one that I have not returned and have been reading. I am 50% in the trees. Let me tell you what this is about. So it's basically, let me see what I can tell you without giving too much away. So, okay, when a pair of detectives from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation arrive in Money, Mississippi to investigate a series of brutal murders, they find at each crime scene an unexpected second body, that of a man who resembles Emmett Till. After meeting resistance from the local sheriff, his deputy, the coroner, and a string of racist white townsfolk, the MBI detectives suspect these are killings of retribution. Then they discover eerily similar murders taking place in rapid succession all over the country. The past, it seems, refuses to be buried. The uprising has begun, In this provocative page turner that takes direct aim at racism and police violence, Percival Everett offers a devastating critique of white supremacy and confronts the painful legacy of lynching in the United States. I am enjoying this book. And there are some times when I read something and I say that is meant for a certain group of people. And if you get it, you get it. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. This, to me, it's doing everything that blurb said it's doing, shining a light and bringing to the forefront. But only people who have open minds, who are critical thinkers, who can distinguish racism and bigotry for what it is and not take personal hits from it, can also enjoy this book. I am laughing, and you would think that a book concerning the death of Emmett Till would not be funny. And I'm not saying the death of Emmett Till is funny, because for God's sake, it is not. It is a serious matter, and it's something that Black people are dealing with to this day, right? But the writing is so on point of, I don't know what to say. Like, in any other life, I would never want to be anything other than a Black woman, anything other than a Black person. And it's because the reading between the lines of this is so Black coded, and it's hilarious. It's funny. It puts into perspective that you don't have to be a prisoner, a bad person, a thug, a miscreant, all of these things for racism to touch you. You don't have to be smart or dumb. You don't have to be tall or short, light or dark for racism to touch you, or for you to be a racist. And this book is just, it's good. It's good. This is looking like it's going to be a 5-star read. This is looking like it's going to shape up to be a 5-star read. And I am enthralled with it. The writing is good. The dialect is good. The fact that the woman who in this book, because again, if you look up Money, Mississippi, it is a real place, and it is the death place of Emmett Till. So Money, Mississippi is where this book takes place. And the woman who lied on Emmett Till is alive. And when she sees the first dead bodies with the Black boy next to it, she already knows that's Emmett Till. She knows him by sight, even though his face is badly misshapen because of what these people have done to him. She knows it's him. And my thing is, she's allowed in this town, in Money, Mississippi, to go scot-free. Scot-free? You a fucking liar. And I don't mind anything that happens to her or her family, or any of the racist people in this book. Don't mind. And I'm having a great time. I love retribution. I love a retribution story. And 5 stars. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only 50% through, but I'm having a great time. The writing is good. The chapters are very short. 2 and 3 page chapters. It reads pretty fast. I'm enjoying this one. These are the ones that are still on my Libby as of right now. So Salt Kiss, I'm not that far in, but our main character, Tristan, is back from the war, and he is now going to be at Mark Chavina's Lioness BDSM Kink Club. He is a 29-year-old Army vet who is a virgin, and he likes breeding kink. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. Like I told you, I'm enjoying this one, which is not on my Libby. I'm reading it in the background. I have read, I don't know if this one is going to be for me right now either, but I'm going to continue to read until I feel like, not right now. But I've read 3 chapters of this. I'm on page 59. And this is not a bad book. For what I've read so far, my 59 pages, this is not a bad book. It is pretty good. It is pretty good so far. We'll see. Then we have Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I am on chapter 5. And the way we're introduced to the MMC Maverick in this book got me side-eyeing, because Hendrix meets Maverick, this is dual POV. We got Hendrix and Maverick in this book. Him and his girlfriend are throwing a, I guess, end of the year party or something like that. Hendrix is invited to this party with her client, and her and him have never met. He is a billionaire software kind of like genius or something like that, and he's kind of drawn to her. But when she realizes, oh, you're the man of this house, she's like, oh shit, like, no, like, I don't give a damn how fine you are, that's not for me. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if that's a possible thing to go somewhere and meet a guy. You don't know who he's attached to, but then you realize, oh, he's attached to not a friend of mine, but let's say an acquaintance or someone I have to work closely with and have worked closely with before. How does that maneuver itself with this man? I don't know. I'm gonna find out, I guess, but I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. And I haven't gotten that much further into Aubree and Bash are just friends. We'll see what happens, but that's the update as of right now. The Trees by Percival Everett is the book that I'm most into right now, and Unhinged by Helen Hart. Those are the two books. So I'm going to continue to read them and see if I get to eliminate any of these books by either finishing them and removing them from my Libby, or soft DNFing them for later and removing them from my Libby. Because again, I have a week before I leave for my trip and I want all of these books off of my Libby, gone. So I have finished Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. It is early in the day for me, but I finished this. I'm going to give this book 3.5 stars. And the reason being is the romance. The way that Maverick and Hen get together is a little shady for me. It's a little shady for me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe nobody else feels that way. And the technicalities of it all, if you got to rely on technicalities, maybe I shouldn't be together. But what I did enjoy, and it feels bad to say enjoy, is the light that was shown on the caretakers of people suffering with Alzheimer's. This book, got me a little misty at least 3 times. And I enjoyed that the attention to detail and attention to care that Kennedy Ryan took while exploring the caretakers of people with Alzheimer's, but also how it might feel for a person suffering with Alzheimer's, in a time of uncertainty. Time is no longer a construct for them. They don't know where they are. They don't know who they are, when they are, and it becomes unstable footing all the time. And I enjoyed that aspect of this. I enjoyed the fight for, or the fight against, people that are coming for things like Roe v. Wade. Yeah, for people that are coming for the rights of people of color in general, right? They are trying to dismantle everything that especially Black people have fought so hard to gain equal footing on. I enjoy that aspect of it. But with that being said, like I said, this book is a 3.5 for me because that romance just wasn't romancing for me. Like, I never felt the spark, even though I like Maverick as a character and I like Hen as a character. I don't know if the circumstances were right for me. If you like it, I love it. However, this is clear my Libby challenge, and we get to now return said book. Done. I am happy about that. However, I am not happy to say that I did not realize that this is kind of like a continuation of 7 Days in June. Did you know? I didn't know. And that's partly or wholly my fault, because Aubree and Bash are just friends. This little cutie patootie right here is Eva's daughter, Eva from 7 Days in June. Now, if you like 7 Days in June as much as I like 7 Days in June, you liked Eva. You liked everything about that story. Probably not everything, because nothing is without reproach. But you know what I mean. You enjoyed that story well enough. However, in the first couple of pages of this book, I didn't get that far. 50 pages of this book, I don't like Eva. I don't like her dad, who is not the guy that Eva ends up with. I don't like her actual dad. I don't like Eva either. So instead of DNFing this, I need to pay more attention to this, because again, I didn't realize until a couple of sentences, I was like, wait a minute, is 7 Days in June's daughter? So I am going to be returning this soft DNF for now. So I'm going to return it on my Libby right now. Look at me go. And again, that's not a check on this, conquering my Libby challenge, because we're returning it without finishing reading it. So now I'm only down to 3 books on my Libby: The Trees, Salt Kiss, and Fourth Wing. And I don't know, in all honesty, if I'm going to finish any of those books by the time this is my last week. This is the last week I have to finish these. Well, not even the last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have 4 days. I have 4 days to finish 3 books before the week is out. and I have to post this video. So we'll see what happens from there, but we're moving in the right direction. I have finished another book on the Clear My Libby challenge. So I read Salt Kiss by Simone. This is the official first book in the Lioness trilogy. However, I read the prequel book, which prompted me to buy this one and read it. And once I finished reading this one, I already purchased the other one. Now, after I tell you my rating, you're going to say, why? Why did you buy it? I'm going to give this book 3 stars. And the reason is because there is a whole lot of fucking in this book. So much so that for most people, they might be like, well, that's what Simone is known for. Granted. However, I think the sexual part of this book is supposed to move us forward into knowing who Mark Trevina is, who Tristan is, who Isolde is. And it kind of doesn't. Like Isolde in this book, like in the prequel book, we meet all 3 of them, and Tristan we meet very, very briefly when he comes to pick her up. In this book, you get all of Tristan and Mark, and then like 10% at the end is Tristan and Isolde. And it ends on you knowing that Mark knows about Tristan and Isolde. And that is the reason why I want the next book, because I want to know how Mark is going to handle that. And I know he's going to like it. I know he's going to 2 beautiful people in Tristan and Isolde bending to his will. What man who wants control wouldn't like that? And this book was very gay. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. Yeah, they are on the eligibility. They are on the LGBTQ spectrum, and I'm not mad at it. It was fine. I want more of all 3 of their relationships. I want more of Mark, because we know what Mark has done, but we don't know who he really is and what prompted him from the army to the CIA to now owning a kink club. Like, I know he deals in secrets and espionage and treason and all of that and all of those things, but why? Not what do you get out of it, why? And also in the prequel book, we learn that Isolde is kind of like a pawn in the Catholic Church to her uncle, for her uncle. In this book, we got none of that. So I'm hoping to see that in the 3rd book. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 star. That a 3 star is not bad. And I did buy the next one in the series. So that's that. But with this book, we're going to end this video. And I know you're thinking, how are we ending in a video? Did you clear everything off of your Libby? No, I did not, but we're gonna clear Salt Kiss. There it is. Return early. We're gonna clear it. Done. Salt Kiss has been returned, which leaves me with 2. I don't know if you could see that, but it's the trees in 4th wing, and I'm 50% in the trees and 9% in 4th wing. However, I am kaput. My brain is done with reading. I am not in the mood anymore, and I'm going on a trip Monday. I need to be focused on that and my schoolwork before I leave. So we read Salt Kiss. I gave it 3 stars. We returned Never Flinch without getting too far into it. I think I read 1 or 2 chapters in it. We returned The Trees. We also finished Now That I Found You. And with this one, I also gave it like a 3 star. Didn't enjoy that one either. I finished Maybe for the Summer, and I enjoyed this one so much. I think I gave it a 4.5 to a 5 star. I really, really enjoyed this one. And Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I didn't like the relationship, but I also didn't like the relationship in book 1, and I don't like the relationship in this one. But the Alzheimer's approach to this book really tugged at my heartstrings. So yeah, I gave this one a 3. Yeah, so here are the books, most of them romance or romance adjacent. Here are the books that we read for this video. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you plan on reading any of them. I hope your reading journey is a good one. I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.